Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I bought what is possibly the cheapest Jaguar XF, or running XF, in the whole of the UK. I've bought a 2011 Jaguar XF Luxury for just £1,000. I mean, how could I say no? What do you think I am, some sort of gullible idiot? Now, I haven't actually seen the car yet, but I suspect it's cheap for a reason. It's been described to me as being a little bit scruffy. Plus, it's done 166,000 miles, so it isn't exactly a low miler. And it's the 2.2 diesel, which is quite reliable, but it's a little bit gruff. And it isn't the one that most people went for. Most people went for the 3-litre turbo diesel V6, which is nice and smooth and refined. The 2.2 is a little bit agricultural. Still, I think they're good cars, and even with 166 on the clock, if it's been looked after, it should be alright. And at £1,000, there should be some profit in it for me. Fingers crossed, anyway. Now, I'm not complaining now because this is very cheap, but it's a late 2011 61. Now, it's a shame it isn't a 2012, because had it been a 2012, it would have been the facelift model, and the facelift model just looks a whole lot sexier. It got a slightly different front end, LED lights, there were a few other subtle tweaks and changes, and it just looked a whole lot more modern. Anyway, I don't think this one is. I think this is a pre-facelift, last of. Anyway, for £1,000, who cares? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Well, we're here. I don't believe my luck, to be honest. That is a facelift XF. I thought the facelift was in 2012. That's a 2011. But it is definitely a facelift. It's got that sexier front end. Nice sleek lights. It is only the luxury though, which means it's got the wheels off my sofa. But still, not bad. It's black, or a very sort of dark charcoal-y colour. There is a little bit of body damage. But still, that's £1,000 quid. £1,000 for all that. And it runs, apparently. I mean, it got there, didn't it? So, yeah, it is a little bit scruffy on the body. It's crying out for new plates. Yeah, the front driver's side wing is dented, but I think I could pop that out. Front bumper corner there wants painting really, but it might buff and improve. We're missing the chrome trim off the front as well. Still, I'm over the moon with that. Let's find out a little bit more about it then. So as always, we're going to do a vehicle history check using Car Vertical. All you do is go to carvertical.com, type in the reg or the VIN. Now in this case it is Mike Victor 61, so it's a Manchester car. Romeo Victor Mike. Check vehicle. It's got its original Royals Jaguar plate as well. On the front at least. That's good. Now this will tell us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. And it's really important that you do one of these before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. It isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code. If you'd like to save yourself 20%, it used to be 10 but it's now 20% off each and every check that you do, use my promo code HIGHPEAK, that's HIGHPEAK all one word, or alternatively, click the link below in the video description. It's currently checking databases in dozens of countries, and it checks hundreds of millions of cars, so it is a really thorough check. And the report's ready, so let's have a look. So it's never been clocked, and like I say, I think it's done 160,000 miles. There's no outstanding finance, which is good. There's no recorded damage. Doesn't mean there isn't any damage, but it means it's never been, you know, recorded as an insurance write-off. So that's good. It is a 2012 model year. That's the very first of that shape. At its last MOT, it had done 161,000 miles, and it's consistent every single year. It's done about 10k a year. That's good. I imagine the first owner was a rep of some description, because by the time it had its first MOT in 14, it had done 60,000 miles. 20k a year is quite a lot, isn't it? The CO2 emission tax band is F, 149 grams per kilometre. Jaguar XF 2012, 2.2 diesel automatic. They didn't make it. I think I'm correct in saying that. They didn't make a manual XF, did they? It was first registered in September 2011. Ownership changed in 2013, then it was inspected, it failed. Let's see what the MOT looks like then. So its last MOT was in October 23. So it's got quite a lengthy ticket on it. That's good news. Right, let's go and have a look around it then, shall we? Well, the first bit of bad news is we've only got one key, but I could always get another one made. Quite a nice day today. Sun's out. Police are out by the sounds of it. So yeah, the luxury, although it's called a luxury, that's the base spec. So you get these tiny, tiny wheels, but on the bright side, the ride will be quite good, won't it? We've got a Pirelli there, wasn't what I was expecting, on about 4mm of tread. That's not bad. Brake discs look a little bit ropey, don't they? As do the sensor caps. Oh, look at the bodywork. Right. I can't believe my eyes weren't drawn to that. That rear panel there It's been painted on someone's driveway with an aerosol tin. Look at the finish. It's like a chalkboard. So, I don't think any amount of buffing would bring that back. You'd end up with arms like Popeye. That one's painting, really. But for £1,000, I don't think, well, with 160 odd on the clock as well, I don't think it's worth painting the whole side, is it? I think it's best just keeping it cheap. So, that's been painted all the way up to there, and then you can just see where he's tried to lose it into that. That's definitely a DIYer. No professional painter would ever put the name to that. A few little dents, some more overspray here. I think with a good old buff though, it would be improved, but lots of scratch marks around the door handle there. Someone hasn't kept their fingernails in check, have they there? The dented wing has broken the paint there. You can see where they've just tried to touch it in, but the lads from Dents, I think, could improve that and just take your eye off it. I'll get them to do that, I think. Also, we've got some lacquer peel here. That's peeling lacquer, not lack of appeal. We've got a cracked sidewall on this. We've got another Pirelli though. See the cracking on the sidewall? What's my date here? How old's this tyre? Don't know, it doesn't say. Oh, 2019. Can you see that? Second week of 19, so it is quite an old tyre, that. A lot of that would buff out and improve. And then, yeah, it's missing its chrome trim. There should be a piece of chrome there to match the other side. See that one there? It's missing. Quite observant like that, aren't I? It's always good at spot the difference. Crying out for a new set of plates. See how much better the facelifted headlamps look? They've almost got eyelids now. Very cool. We've got what looks like xenons as well with a headlamp wash. Front parking sensors. The bonnet's quite chippy and scruffy, but it would buff up. We've got another Pirelli Cintarotto there. On about, that's quite close to the limit actually. That's probably just about 2 mil-ish. So it could possibly do with 2 front tyres. The rear, well, the offside rear was okay. This one's got a Michelin, so we've got an odd tyre on the back, but that's on about 5 mil of tread. That's all right then. So possibly then just 2 front tyres, a good buff, set of plates, dent on that front wing. We've got a much tidier car then. Got a coat hanger there. So we have got matching Royals plates. That's a good sign. Means it's nice and original. Okay, SK91BZ. I think that's that dealership in Stockport that's now... Am I right in saying that? The one that's now Tesla? I don't know. Anyone that knows the area, let me know. Let's move inside then, shall we? Does my remote locking work? Oh yes, it does. So it's a base spec, so there's no keyless. Had this been a premium luxury or a portfolio, it would have had a little button there for keyless entry, but this does not. However, we've got a nice black leather interior. It's very dirty though, but nothing that my local car wash people can't sort out and then whinge at me for. Got a power tailgate? No, maybe not. Lots of little finger marks here. Just noticed the number plate light's a bit loose as well there. But what do you want for a grand? It's very dirty this, it is crying out for a mini valet. Oh yeah, that's gross. Minging. Got a Halford's battery there, it looks fairly recent. More coat hangers. Yeah, filthy. And it needs some new boot struts because there was no resistance there at all. The back's quite clean. Well, it needs a good clean, but it's not damaged or anything. It's all in order. It's pretty good. What else we got here? Well, that was sticky. Got some cup holders there. You know what this is? Oh, some sort of headpiece thing. How strange. Right. Let's get in, shall we? So because this is a facelifted car, you get the updated infotainment system, which is nice. Got a pulsing red switch here. This is all a bit gross, isn't it? I imagine you could buy new stickers to cover that or take those off and replace them because it's all a bit sticky and horrible. Alternatively, just, you know, buy the whole new piece from eBay. But on a car like this, where do you start and stop? I don't know. Let's fire up then. We've got very little fuel in it. We're on 2 miles. Turn off that. It was on Smooth FM, in case you're wondering. Smooth FM. Right. Of course, on the Mark II, these... Oh, they do. They just don't work. Oh, that's not good, is it? I was going to say on the Mark II, but I think it's the Mark III. They're fixed. They don't... They're supposed to spin around when you start the car. Oh well. Can't have everything for £1,000, can you? At least they're open and not shut. Got a Tic Tac there and a 20p piece. And a wood screw. We get an actual button here rather than a touch panel. Is there any service history with this then? Let's have a look. It is all in good condition though, really, apart from wanting a good old clean. I think we'll knock this off because it is desperately low on fuel. Although having said that, look at the gauge. We've got like 1/8 of a tank there and it's only saying 2 miles. That doesn't ring true, does it? Service book then, let's have a look here. There is a bit of history. Weirdly then, it was done by Mercedes at 15, then 30, then Royals, Wilms... Ah, it was the one in Wilmslow that's now a sofa shop. Right. On the bridge there, near Flat Sands. So that was done at 36, then 53, then 74, then 107, bit of a gap there. Then again in 2018, but no one's input the mileage. But I can guess that it's between that and that. 138. Is there any more? Oh yeah, look at that. 145 and 161 in Staley Bridge with a full wax oil. Now, I'm not being fussy, but this will be due a cam belt. Now, this old 2.2 is the same as the engine that they use in the Freelander and stuff, and it's due at 10 years or 150,000 miles, I think. 10 years or 150k. So, we'll have to get the cam belt done and water pump. Quite a dear job on these. You're talking 450 quid, something like that. But still, there's no evidence that that's been done, and I don't want it snapping on me, so we'll get that done. I mean, what's the actual mileage? The actual mileage is 166,757. So it was serviced just 5,000 miles ago, so I think I'll give it another service anyway. Let's have a look under the bonnet, see if there's a cam belt sticker anywhere. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think the first thing to do with this is drop it off for a clean, because it's a bit minging. We've got electric seats though. So although it's a base spec, someone has selected a few options on it. There we go. Right, the old 2.2, it smells very diesely. Is there a cam belt sticker anywhere? I don't see one. There isn't one anywhere on the bonnet. No. I'd say not then. It's annoying, isn't it, when people don't look after the cars? Because if the cam belt snaps on something like this, on an interference engine, you're into a new engine. What a waste, for the sake of 400 quid. Should we take this for a spin then? See how it drives? Right then, first time in the XF. Might as well buckle up, hadn't we? Fire up again. It hasn't aged particularly well, this, has it? All the buttons and stuff are all sticky and gross, like a mid-2000s S-Class. Selected gear all right. Oh, hang on a minute, my barrier's closing again. Wonder why my air vents aren't folding and opening. There must be some sort of motor, mustn't there? I imagine. Yeah, the old 2.2 litre TD4 engine, or SD4 or whatever it is a bit more coarse than the V6. You can feel it vibrating. Still, it is slightly better on fuel. You'll do an extra 5 or 6 or 8 miles per gallon maybe over the V6. And it's in a cheaper tax bracket. Central locking works. Do my windows work? 1, 2, 3. I think that one's just jammed. There's a lot of moss around it. We'll leave that one alone for now, I think. 3 out of 4. It's not bad, is it? We've got no warning lights on, only low fuel. Down to 2 miles. I just don't believe that. Next thing, we'll cut to a shot of me pushing it on the side of the road. Have we got sat-nav then? Oh, we do. You know what? This is quite a decent spec. For being a low-level luxury model, we've got sat-nav. We've got heated seats. We've got heated seats. Reverse camera. I think we should have a reverse camera as well, but it's not working. We just get a blank screen. Steering column adjust. It's quite loud and clunky, isn't it? It's all right with this, isn't it, for £1,000? Quite pleased with it, really. Seats work. And we're away. My brother had one of these. In fact, it was written off about 3 weeks after he bought it. It was a 2012 or 13 facelift 2.2, but it was the R Sport or something. I don't know, R Design, I don't know. It was the sporty one and it looked quite cool in Italian racing red. I think it's exactly the same as Firenze red that they use in Range Rovers, but they have to call it something different over at Jaguar. Oh, we've got heated front screen as well. I think, you know, if I'm very careful with this, I don't want to start painting it. I don't want to start painting a full side because then I'm into £500. But I think if I just do a few little subtle jobs, I could transform this. So I'm thinking if I run this down to my mechanics, get them to check it over, give it a service and a cam belt, get the lads from Dents to pop out the dents on the wing, give it a good buff and clean. I think just basically keep it cheap, keep the spend low. I think I should be able to flip this for profit. If I go mad on it and start painting the whole thing, and it really isn't worth it. But I think I could get £3,000 for this, don't you reckon? Do the cam belt, do the service so it's not going to break on anybody, and then just basically tart it up a little bit. I'd run around in this, to be honest. I think it's all right. We've got start stop, which I detest, but at least it works. In fact, I probably should have kept that on, saved a bit of fuel. Does my air conditioning work? I've got no hopes for this, but... Oh, hang on a minute. Set it to 18. Where's my climate? We've only got working aircon, guys. What are the chances of that? This is half a car, you know. It's changing gear nicely. Got no warning lights on, no engine lights, no DPF clogged, anything like that. It's all good. First things first then, I think I'm going to take this for a quick wash. I'm going to take it down to my local car wash for a mini valet because it's filthy. I'll order some new plates for it, obviously. Can't forget the new plates now, can we? Remove that because it's doing my head in. Voila. Yeah, pretty good. If I could spend, cam belt's going to be $450, it's going to be quite pricey this. If I could spend maybe £800 on this, so it'll owe me £1,800, then I think it's a £3,000 car all day long. I think then, wish me luck. I'm going to catch up with you later on. Try and not spend more than £800, that's the crucial thing. I think I've got some profit here, guys. Yeah, we're down to 1 mile. Change of plan then. First stop, fuel. Fuel, car wash, mechanics. In that order. See you in a bit. And we're back in the cheapest XF, which is now sold. I didn't go mad with it, as you can probably tell. The driver's side still looks like a chalkboard, but I've done the essentials. In case you don't know the essentials I'm talking about here, I'm talking a mini valet for £15, fresh set of plates, which I fitted myself, I'll have you know. So this very cheap XF is, as they say up north, short and out. Anyway, let me stop being sarcastic for 2 minutes. What did I do? After we last spoke, I took this down to my mechanics for a PDI, a pre-delivery inspection, so fresh oil and filter, and just a general check over basically. I didn't bother with an MOT because it's currently got quite a lengthy one, so I thought I'll try and get away without it. A couple of days later, my mechanic called me to say it's ready, and she said there are quite a few things that you need to be aware of. So, happily, she's done me a little list, well, quite a big list. There's nothing there though too serious, so I didn't bother doing them. You might think I'm cutting corners here, which I never do, but, well, I'll talk you through the list in a second. There's nothing there that sinister. And I thought with this car, this particular cheap car with 166,000 miles on the clock, I didn't want to go too mad. I didn't want to get carried away and completely lose the plot. After that, I picked it up from there and took it to my local car wash for a mini valet. So £15 later, and it now looks pretty good. Again, I didn't bother with a full valet over at Tameside because that would have cost me at least £70. So I tried to be a little bit more frugal and just spent 15 and had a quick wash and vac, and it does look much better for it. Then as I got it back to work, the lads from Dents, that's D3NTS, who are a local paintless dent removal company, they were on the forecourt doing some other cars for me. So I rolled this onto the pitch and said, can you have a go at just improving that front wing for me? It was a bit of a state. Anyway, look at it now. Looks really good. I can still tell that it's been damaged, but it does take your eye off it, doesn't it? So I think that was £55 plus VAT, very well spent. Then I fitted some new reg plates to it, as I mentioned already, and I know you're going to roll your eyes now, but it does lift it. It just looks a whole lot brighter and better. Before it had its original 12-year-old plates on that had got rusty screws, and it all looked a bit sorry for itself. And now the first thing you see is a bright white plate. Unless you're at the back, and then it's a bright yellow plate. And that's about it. And that's about as far as I'm prepared to go with this one. I don't want to get carried away. I didn't want to spend £3,000 getting it resprayed and cam belt done and all that sort of stuff. What I've done with it instead is sell it to a friend of mine. You know Steve, who I work with, you'll have seen him on several other videos. He's in charge of content and, well, he's the main editor over here at High Peak Autos, and he's improved the quality of the channel to no end over the last 12 months. Anyway, I've sold it to him. He's currently having some car issues. He's got another XF, a 3-litre V6, a 330 BMW. That's about it. He was using the X5, but that broke. So yeah, he's not had the best of luck with cars recently, so he just needed a cheap runaround until one of those other cars were fixed. So I mentioned this in passing because he's a big Jag fan, and he said, yeah, that'll do. So what I've agreed to do is sell it to him for money back. No profit at all for me, but he's got a cheap car. And that's basically because, well, because I'm a good egg, aren't I? Everyone knows this. I'm just thoughtful and generous to a fault. Always have been. Anyway, let's park up next to this scruffy bin, which has actually got a better paint finish than this driver's side of the car. Let me talk you through this list then, which my mechanic found wrong. So, it was booked in for a PDI only. So it's had new oil and new oil filter and a washer. There's some play in the near side front top ball joint arm. There's some play in the, I don't know what that means. Near side NPL out. Well, what's an NPL? Anyway, near side front window in up. I'd forgotten about that. I'd forgotten all about that. You know, I often film these videos and then weeks pass and I forget. Anyway, there's some oil around the near side boost hose. Again, nothing serious, but it's done 166. Front discs and rear discs have some corrosion. Okay. Both front tyres are low on inner, and both front lower suspension arms, front bushes slightly deteriorated and soft. Not the end of the world, that, is it? And, well, it isn't a retail car, it never was going to be. But, I'm not just saying this, it drives particularly well. It isn't loose or knocky, so all those advisory items about bushes and things doesn't really ring true. I'm not knocking my mechanic there, by the way, I'm just saying you can't tell that from the way it drives. It isn't loose and all over the place. It's actually quite precise. So what have I spent on this car then? It was £1,000, the dent removal was £66, the PDI was £85. What else? The mini valet was £15, the fresh set of plates were £15. Are you keeping score of this? That takes my total to £1,181. It's a cheap car, isn't it? There's no two ways about it. I've just advised Steve though to get the cam belt done. I don't know if it's ever been done, and with this sort of mileage you just wouldn't want to risk it. I truly think though if you get the cam belt done you could run this for another year or two and you shouldn't have any issues. I mean, you never know, do you, with used cars? Touch wood. You shouldn't have any issues though. I'd run around in this. It's actually quite pleasant. So enough rambling then, I think that's about it. So thank you once again for joining me on this journey, keeping me company. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers guys. I'm heading back to the office now to throw the keys in Steve's general direction. Ah, that's something else I meant to tell you. I say keys, plural. When I picked this up, it was just a one key, but the second one came in the post, and that never happens. It needs a new shell. The ring snapped off it, but I happen to know for £11 you can buy a new case off eBay, because I've done about 37 of them. Right, I'll see you next time. Adios.